Hello, hello, hello out there. Welcome to Bankroll Your Brains Thursdays. I'm Nicole Roberts Jones, the Bankroll Your Brains expert. I'm excited to be here with you for another week. So as you guys come in, those of you that have been here before, come on in, tell me name, tell me hello, tell me where you're from. Even if you watch after, you're watching a replay, still come in, tell me name and where you're from. So as you know, this weekly segment is all about helping you understand how to take your brains to the bank. So there are three areas we talk about. Number one is really getting clear on what your brilliance is, and which is a conversation around purpose, what your purpose is, what it does, who you are meant to serve. Number two is the value of it. Many people do not realize that you have value and you have value to a group of people that need you. And that value also is tied to your ability to speak to the value you offer. That's area number two. Number three is how you make money from it, of course, because you can't have a bankroll your brand segment and not talk about bankrolling it. So today our conversation is from section area number one. Now, keep in mind, you need all three areas in order to get paid for what you know. And I'm going to tell you today, I'm really excited because I'm bringing to you my business bestie. Now, those of you that haven't been here for a while, and I see more of you coming in. Hi, Rosamond. Welcome. Rosamond, if I'm saying your name right. And as I see, it's at least 40 some odd other people here. Say hello at least, right? And tell me where you're here from today. So those of you that have seen me for a while, you hear me talk about having an accountability partner. You know, as you're growing in this thing called life, it's so important that you have people that hold you accountable, people you can run things past, that are in the same journey you're in, that grow alongside you. And so this woman is someone that I met years ago in a mastermind program. And yeah, we just stuck with each other, right? And so the thing that I love about our guest today is she is both brilliant and down to earth, and she's a God's girl like me. And what she's going to talk about today, as she shares with you how to successfully shift from disruption to destiny, is really a conversation. Hey, Selena from Colorado. Hey, Sherry. Is she's going to show you what it means when it's time to shift. Many of you are in a career and you've stayed in that career because of the shoulds. You know, somebody has shoulded on you. People have told you what you should do, or you're living in perception, or you're living in mediocre because you are living in all of that. And so that is why I'm excited about a conversation for today. Hey, Valenta in Zambia. Yes, Zambia in the house. Good morning, Adrian. Tell us where you're from. Hey, Sandra in Tacoma, Washington. Welcome, y'all. Come on in. Keep coming in. So I'm going to read her bio because, of course, she's my business bestie, and I can go on and on about who she be and how brilliant she is. But I want you guys to know who's coming to pour into you. Hi, Mary in Abilene, Texas. You could tell y'all, listen, when I was little, I had the gift of gab. I've had it my whole life. So I always got in trouble every day for talking too much, all the checks on the board. So I know I was talking in my phonetic spelling class because when I have to phonetically try to say your names, I'll mess it up. Anyway, let me stay focused. So with that, let me introduce you Shayna Rattler. Now, Shayna has helped thousands of individuals and organizations achieve personal and organizational growth. She is the host of the God Shift podcast and the God Shift TV show. She's a prophetic minister, a speaker, and author, and she's passionate about helping others shift from disruption into their God ordained destiny. So help me welcome Miss Shayna. Hey, girl.
Hi,
So excited to have you here. So let's start. Let's go right in because Shayna and I can talk. We could be here for the next 8 hours, by the way, y'all, and give you some really good content and sister girl conversation too. So with that, let's first define God shift, which I absolutely love. For those of folks that are saying, why are they calling it a God shift? Explain to everyone what that is.
Absolutely. So for me, a God shift is the moment that a disruption in your life collides with God's purpose and moves you into a greater destiny. And disruption usually comes in the form of some unexpected circumstance. And it doesn't have to be negative. I think we're dramatic people and we respond most to dramatic things, but it's what is that thing that God is using to get your attention? You know, it can be something negative, like somebody betrayed you or you lost your job, but it could also be you are accomplishing everything you set out to do. You're making the most money in your life, but yet you just can't fight that inkling that there's more success with your name on it. So what we have to do is to say, okay, these opportunities are coming into my life to get my attention, to show me that it's time for something else, whether it's to be somebody else, whether it's to do something different. And so we just have to ask ourselves, what am I supposed to see? What am I supposed to learn? And more importantly, what am I supposed to do next as a result of that? Now, I personally call it a God shift, because if you are a Christian and if you are a believer in God, he wants to partner with you in order to get on the other side of this disruption.
That's so good. You know, what's interesting is, and Shannon and I talk about this all the time. So what happens when you're already successful and you feel this inkling, you try to ignore it. You think, oh, I should be happy. I should stay here because I'm doing really well. What happens when you ignore that rumble, that shift that's happening inside of you?
Well, God is committed to his results. So if he's calling you to do something, it's going to get done. So if you ignore these inklings, if you ignore these things that are being used to get your attention, it's still going to happen. So if you ignore it, you're either going to completely miss the life that's calling, or you're going to delay it. And ain't nobody got time for either one of those.
And then the other thing that's interesting is he always starts with a pebble. What I heard this saying once. He starts like it'll be a pebble hitting you, right? Just imagine a pebble on a glass, right, you guys? So if you have a pebble hitting a glass, it's really faint and it's not going to break the glass. Then he'll get a larger rock. Okay, that larger rock might hit the glass, depends on how hard, but then he's going to get a boulder. That boulder's going to break the glass, probably break anything that's around it. If you still don't listen, you wonder why your life is feeling like you like walking and you feeling kind of off. You wonder why nothing is working. It's because God is going to give you every opportunity to shift, right? But if you don't,
I say all the time, like, you can either shift or be shoved.
okay?
Which would you rather have?
And then if you don't get shoved, if you don't let yourself move with the shove, gotta find somebody else to do it. And you wonder why your life is not going as great as other people you see out there. It's because you're not listening to the inklings, right?
Exactly.
So
There's an amazing life that's calling. The question is, are you going to answer?
and it's not going to be easy. You know, so many of us look for it to happen in comfort. I always think about, when I moved from elementary so let me just go all the way back. So my elementary school had 13 people in my class. Okay. So you guys understand what I mean. Okay. So in my elementary, then it was my junior high and high school, all the same school. Excuse me. That's not true. My elementary and junior high, all the same school, 13 people. So know them really, really well to this day. Then I go into high school and it's like thousands of people. Whole different experience when you got 13 people in your class and I have hundreds of people in my one class, right? So it was uncomfortable. I had to conjure up a whole new level of myself or I would get lost easily trying to be who I thought I needed to be in high school, which I was a little bit of a hot mess. And so that's the same thing that happens in life. It's always bigger, right, than where you already are. Tell us about that, Shayna. And really tell us about the secrets or your best tips to shifting successfully.
I will answer that, but I also want to say that, not only are we looking for things to be comfortable, but we're looking for them to be predictable. And your next is going to be neither.
Ooh, that's good. Somebody needed that. It's not going to be comfortable or predictable. Y'all need to know
Yeah,
that.
your next will be neither. So if you're in a space, whether you're in a good space or whether you're in a stuck space, and you know that there's a next, because let me just say, there's a next for everyone.
Right.
Again, it doesn't have to be. I was telling someone yesterday, my story is not, woe is me, I lived in a van down by the river.
Right.
I've been blessed not to have those stories, not to diminish those who have,
Right.
but whether you feel like you're at a low point in life or whether you're at the highest point in your life that you've achieved, there's always a next, right?
Right.
There's a next month, a next you, a next career. I say a next you or a next do. Because sometimes it's about becoming, sometimes it's about doing. So there's a next you or a next do, regardless. But when you ask me, like, what is the best tip? And I obviously probably have many, but I often say that if you recognize that your shifting season is going to be more about being than it is doing, so you have to ask yourself, what are the areas of my life, my personal life, my character traits, that I need to develop? Because when you focus on those areas of your life, not only are you going to be in a better position to identify what you should do, because that's what we ask. What am I supposed to do? What should I do? Well, if you can't be who it is that you need to be, you'll never be able to do what it is that you want to do. And if you focus on being, the do usually comes into your life anyway. You're in a better position to be able to identify it. And usually it takes care of itself.
So good, so good. Is this resonating with you guys? I want to see you sharing. Now, Usman, I love you, but this is not a sales opportunity for you, girls. So stop making all these comments, right? I want you guys to make comments based on, listen, Shayna gets paid thousands of dollars to coach folks. So if you have questions, comments, insight, if this is good to you, I want you guys to make comments. I'm looking at every single comment, right? So Shayna, tell us, how do I say this? What are some signs, right? Now you've given us a little, but I want to dig deeper a little bit here.
Yeah.
That you know that God is really asking you to shift. Now, I want you guys to, before she answers this, that's right. Data says so true. Being before doing, right? So I really want you to be clear when it's time for you to move into, like, let me give you an example. I have a client who is a huge CNN correspondent. Okay, I don't have her permission. I'm not going to share. But she had an opportunity before she became a journalist. She knew in her heart, her soul, that she was meant to be a journalist, but she was a lawyer because that was what her family wanted her to be and do. And she shared this on my podcast, right? And so, because of that, she had an opportunity. She got an offer to be a partner in her law firm. So she had a choice to make. Do I go up or do I go out? And so that's what I'm talking about. When you get to the place where does she go up and do what her family wanted, what perception says she should do, or should she go out and do the thing that she knew that was rumbling in her soul, which in my opinion, when things are rumbling inside of you, that's that God shift Shayna's talking about. And we talked about this. It's not going to be easy, right? It's not going to be based on who you already are. So again, she had been a lawyer for years, and she knew she was meant to be a journalist. She had never been a journalist before. And so that's what I'm talking about. I want Shayna to give us some real insight that can help you guys see, because many of you guys are having signs and you don't realize that they're signs.
Yeah. So I'll run through many of them. Pursuing that thing that you once loved is now feeling like a chore. You're feeling exhausted or overwhelmed. You're at a crossroads. Do you stay on the same path or do you go in a different direction? Your relationships and your opportunities are drying up. The bottom line is that something is just off. We use that language a lot. I don't know. Something is just off. And you may not know what or why, but you do have an absolute certainty that here does not feel good.
That's good. That's so good. I'm looking at the comments here, right? And so I love it. So I'm a Met says today I'm proud because I've gained more than I've lost in trading. That's why I'll be forever thankful to Miss Shayna. Right? So it's really looking at what can you gain, and really it's not even about you. Your shift oftentimes is about all the people that you're called to serve. So what that means is, even if a job, listen, if Steve Jobs never went back to Apple after he got fired, y'all know Steve Jobs got fired from Apple, right? They let him go. But he knew, and I don't know Steve. I didn't know Steve because he's no longer with us. But something inside of him let him know to go back. And we wouldn't have an iPhone if he didn't go back. And I love me some iPhone. I have an i everything, right? And so I want you to get, this is not just about starting a business. This is about you understanding that there are a group of people that are assigned to you. So even with the iPhone, there are a whole bunch of us that love Steve Jobs for saying yes to his divine gift. And so it really is getting clear with that and understanding that. So how can we be clear on what that is? And so we have some indications, but how do we start to go after it? Like, what are some things you can share with us to start to make the shift?
The very first thing that you have to do is you have to make room.
Mm.
You can't, this is a God conversation for me. So I feel like that thing that you're supposed to be reaching for is just far enough ahead of you so that you have to let go of what was behind you.
Ooh, that's good.
So what are the things or the people that are in your life that you don't have room? Whether it's literal room in your physical space, whether it's figurative room in your heart or in your mind, because you can't expect something new if you're not willing to let go of the old, because God can't bless you here with what it is that he has for you there. Mm-hmm. So what do you need to let go of? Who do you need to let go of in order to be able to make room? Because if you're not going to do that, nothing else that you learn and nothing else that Nicole and I could share is going to have any effect. So that's the first thing you have to do, is you have to make room.
Right. And I love that, when I think about my own journey, and I know you have more than one. So, but I just want to, for those of you that are saying, oh, that's not me, it is. And let me tell you, I'm saying that because that was me. So I had the career I always wanted in the entertainment industry. I had dreamed about this career since I was 7 years old. I want you guys to get this, right? And I had finally made it. At the time, I worked for the #1 TV show on Fox that I know all of y'all watch. We're not going to say the name of the TV show because you're going to focus on that. But what I do want you to get is I was doing that, going to all the Hollywood parties. Celebrities knew me by name, okay? I had the life that I dreamed of. But yet, in the dark of the night, I felt like something was missing. I couldn't
Yeah.
understand what I was feeling. And that was the God shift. God was saying, this is great. And listen, I believe it wasn't that that wasn't what I was meant to do, but God had more for me because it was time for me to grow into my next level. See, God is going to let you live wherever you settle. God's going to let you live for whatever you settle for. So had I settled for entertainment, I wouldn't be doing this that I'm doing now. And did I see this? Then I did not. Matter of fact, I'm shy. Nobody believes me, but I am. So I never saw myself being a speaker, but I had to let go of who I already was and go after who I had not yet become. And that's what Shayna's talking about. And I'm only sharing my example with you because it was a hard shift, but I had to trust and do what I needed to do to do what God saw for me, not what I saw for me. So with that, go ahead, Shayna, with your second step. I just had
Well,
to
I
share
want
that.
to add to what you just said before I go into, what else you can do next. Is that if you don't say yes, you're not only dishonoring yourself, but you're disrespecting those that are waiting on your yes. So how
Mm,
dare you dishonor yourself and disrespect those that need you?
mm-hmm,
I
mm-hmm,
doubt very seriously that there's anyone that is in this organization that doesn't recognize that they're alive because there are people that they are called to help in whatever capacity.
right. That's good.
So would you really raise your hand and say, guess what I'm going to do today? I'm going to dishonor myself and I'm going to disrespect those that I'm called to help.
Look, and I'm going to be mediocre. I'm going to stay at good enough.
Yeah, I love to play small. Pick me. No,
Nobody does that. Right. Right.
nobody does
I love,
that. So
look,
I
I
say
love,
it like that. And even
mhm.
though it's a little bit tongue in cheek and I'm being silly because I don't know any other way to be than that, I just want to lay it in your lap in a way that gets you to see the magnitude. Because a lot of times we can be like, oh, yeah, shifting, pivoting, that's what everybody's talking about right now. I'm good. I like where I'm at. I don't need to make room. Everybody has a next, whether it's a next you or whether it's a next do. And I would just encourage you not to dishonor yourself and not to disrespect those that are waiting on you.
Ooh,
Yes.
look, David said, God shift means there is more for me. Wow, I needed to hear that. And then he said, ouch. I love it. I love it. Sean said, make room for the shift. Oh, right. She said, Shayna, that's good. Right. In tune with ourselves. Yes,
Yeah.
Adrienne. So I
Yeah.
just wanted to let a few of your comments come up because this conversation is so needed because we go through life and we like settle. And we just talked about this and we stay in a good enough career because, like, for me, I just told you my story. I could have stayed in entertainment because it was phenomenal. Look, I
Yeah.
still miss the parties, but I want y'all to get this. There was another level that I couldn't see, and I had to be willing to do the work to do it despite not being able to see it. So anyway, keep going, Shayna. This is good.
So number one, you have to make room. Number two, we just talked about it. You have to make up your mind. Are you shifting or not?
Mm-hmm.
Like,
Mm-hmm.
are you going or you're not? And let me just say this because I like those ouch moments because I'm here for your toes. I don't care about that. Um, I'm just gonna say I don't care if you're motivated. I don't care if you're inspired. I care if you're in action.
Yes.
Bottom line,
Period.
because we can leave church on a high, and then when something busts your life wide open on Wednesday, you don't know what to do about it. So I don't
Right.
care if you're motivated, and I don't care if you're inspired. I care if you can actually do something. So
Exactly.
that's number two is you have to make up your mind. Are you going to move or are you going to move or not? And then
Right.
the third thing is, and these are not in any particular order, and I'm really just kind of giving them to you as it's given to me, is that you have to ask yourself, what do you really want?
Hmm.
Not what do others want for you. There are no, how do I say this? There are no rewards in living out somebody else's plan for your life.
Whew. That's so
And
good.
so most people who should on you, most people tell you what you should do, they have great intentions.
Mm-hmm.
When I went to school to be a therapist, people were like, well, you went to school and you had these loans and you did all that, so you should do this. And if I would have paid attention to that, and for some of you, it's, well, maybe you should focus on your career first and then a family, or maybe you should focus on your family first and then your career. Those things are given to you with the best of intentions. But if
Mm-hmm.
you have to be very clear on what is it that you want,
Right.
what do you want? What do you want? And what are you tolerating that's keeping you from getting there?
Woo. Say that again. What are you tolerating? That's homework, y'all. I need you guys to identify what are you tolerating that's keeping you there. Which are
Yeah.
the shoulds? Which, by the way, sometimes some people have told us what we should do, but sometimes no one's ever said a should to you. You put a should
You
on
should on
yourself.
yourself.
Mm-hmm.
You should
Mm-hmm.
on yourself. And, so let's talk about what tolerating could look like, because, we're talking to doctors and leaders, we think we don't tolerate nothing. What are I can tell you what I'm tolerating. I'm 17 pounds overweight and I don't push back from the table.
Okay. Right.
I need to get more rest, but I still stay up half the night on my computer.
Right.
So
Right.
sometimes it doesn't have to be that you're tolerating that somebody is disrespecting you or unappreciating you at work. Sometimes you're tolerating things that you're imposing on yourself, self-imposed tolerations and tolerations that you're accepting from other people. So get clear on what you want and then ask yourself, what are you tolerating that's getting in the way? Because again, everybody wants new and everybody wants more, but nobody wants to let go.
Oof. The other thing is you're saying that what just came in my mind is all the times people say, well, this is just how I am. This is just who I am. It's like, there's that tolerating again. So you're going to be okay with being complacent and you're
Mm-hmm.
going to blame being mediocre on this is just how I am instead of growing into what's the next possibility for you.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's good. That's
I
so
don't get
good.
it. I don't get it, but I get it. You know what I
Right.
mean? I don't get it, but I get it.
Right, right, right. Look, I'm definitely at my next praying for my shift. That's right, Deborah. That's right.
And if you don't
That's
know what
right.
it is, ask.
Yep. And that's why, listen, I bring experts here. So this is the woman. If you need support, if you need help, she has a free gift. We'll give it to you at the end. But I want you to get that if God intended for you to do all this stuff by yourself, you'd be here by yourself. You would need a doctor to get your health together. You would need a coach to help get your life together. You would need a coach to help you get your business together, right? You stepping all on my toes. I say that just who I am a lot. Right, Sean, right?
And that's, can I say something to you, Sean? That's choice.
Mm-hmm.
When people call out stuff about us, oh, that's just who I am. Well, you don't have to be that. That's choice.
Yep.
And
Yep.
just because you've always done something doesn't mean you always have to do it that way. It goes back to letting go. I think sometimes, letting go of, what we wanted, how we planned it, who we planned it to include, like those are the most difficult things, to let go of.
Mm-hmm.
And we blame it on, well, that's just who I am. That's just how I am. But you don't have to be.
Right. Right.
You don't have
Because
to be. Even if you feel like it was passed down. I'm a liar because my mama was a liar. You know what I mean? I got a smart mouth because my daddy had a smart mouth. You don't have to keep doing that.
Right, right, right. I love
How
it. I
well is
love
it working for you?
Mm-hmm. So Shayna, tell us, and listen, I can't believe it's almost 30 minutes. Wow, we went through fast. So of course she has to get forgive. But before we do that, tell us why you're so passionate about this work. Tell us, and again, Shayna and I could be here for the next 4 hours, y'all. Okay. And we holding back because we use the kiki a lot more. But I really want you to share with the folks that are here and those of you that are watching the replay, why the God Shift? Why this work? Why are you holding the platform for this?
So, people's lives and the world at large are so full of challenges and setbacks and disappointments. And there's a greater level of destiny that awaits all of us. And every day that we delay accessing the wisdom and the information that we need is a day delayed to answer the amazing life that is calling. And I don't want to get to heaven and see boxes with my name on them in their full. I want everything that God has for me right now.
Yep.
Right now.
Yep.
And so you have to ask yourself, like, sometimes delays and disappointments and, the word tells us that everything works for our good. Everything that happens in your life has to happen. And it happens for you and not to you. But I see too many people that are walking around with promise, even when you feel like you're already in your place of promise. And and I believe it's because when something happens in our lives, we don't know how to move past it. And what you can't do around me is come back and keep talking about the same thing over and over and over again, and I not give you the tools to move past it. Right. And so in this season, I know that my assignment is to help people that are in an unexpected circumstance to figure out how do they get on the other side of it, because there's greatness that is waiting on the other side of it. So that's why I do what I do, because there's too many people, and dare I say far too many Christians that have been church hurt, browbeat by the word, mistaught. A lot of what we believe is because the word has been taught in error. And,
Come
and,
on.
and even though it was intended to free us, it really has put us in a box.
Right.
And God,
Right.
God didn't come that we live in a box. He come that we live in abundance. And
Mhm.
so my voice is needed in the earth now to show y'all what really should have been said.
Right. So we can live outside of the box and create our own box, which is what God intended for all of us. So tell us about this free gift, which I'm putting on the screen. Because obviously 30 minutes is not going to be enough for Shayna, right? It's only been like 20, right? So here's a gift she's giving away. Go ahead, Shayna. Tell us about it.
Yeah, so it's a free guide and it's called When God Says Shift. And basically, it covers the 4 shifts that you have to master in order to go from disruption to destiny. And you can see the link on the screen. It's godsaysshift.com. It's free and it always will be. And it covers those 4 shifts that are going to be required to not only reveal your God shift, but be able to access it.
I love it. Davis says, this is helping me today. I'm really working on me in this season and realizing how I've lived my life for everyone but me. Emptiness is really an eye opener for me. So, Davis, I'm so glad you're here. So, thank you for saying that. Thank you. And Shayna, thank you for coming on, sharing great insight. Sean says, thank you for this information. So helpful to me in this season of my life. Yes. So, and that's what this is all about. So, then great that this is helpful, but how will you move it forward? So, those of you that are here, again, whether you're live or watching the replay, grab the book and then don't just grab it, do it. Because what I know about Shayna, she's just like me. We don't care if you're motivated or inspired. If you don't activate a thing, listen, motivation and inspiration does nothing but give you hope. And hope without execution is hallucination. Now, unless you smoking some narcotic, we don't need you hallucinating, okay? We need you to be able to activate what we're
Yeah.
giving you. And so literally grab that gift. God says shift.com. Shayna, thank you for all that you are. Thank you for all that you do. I see people say, thank you for the information. Yes, Mary just said that.
My
Thank you
pleasure.
for thank you for being my biz bestie and pouring into me. But ultimately, thank you for saying yes to your own shift so that you can be a light on the path for the rest of us. I appreciate you.
Absolutely. Thank you for having me.
Yay. So with that, y'all, this has been another episode of Bankroll Your Brains Thursdays. Every Thursday, I am here committed to give you insight and activation to move your brilliance forward, right? And so listen, again, I tell you this every week. Every now and then I will do hot seats. And let me explain to you what a hot seat is. So, a hot seat is when you have a question. I will spend our 30 minutes digging into your questions. So, if you have questions you want me to answer, and they would be in 3 categories: anything around your purpose, how to define it, how to be clear, how to align it with the work you do, how to really understand the value that you offer to the tribe that you are called to, or 3, how to make money from it. Any of those 3 areas is what we talk about here on Bankroll Your Brains Thursday. So send your questions. See the email there on the screen, byb@blackdoctor.org. Again, I will do hot seats every now and then. And so you never know, your question could be chosen for the hot seat episodes. So with that, I will be here next Thursday for yet again another Bankroll Your Brains Thursdays. It's my honor to serve you every Thursday. So listen, if you found value, number 1, share. Tell me the value you got out of this episode. And number 2, click the button below, those of you that are here on Facebook, and share it with your tribe. Also, if you're watching the replay in YouTube, you can do the same thing and click the share and share it with your tribe. So, again, thank you for being here. My name is Nicole Roberts Jones, and I'll be here again next Thursday for another episode of Bankroll Your Brains Thursdays. I'll see y'all soon. Bye.